Hyperice is a proud sponsor of Tighten Up the Podcast, a leading provider of innovative technology for recovery, mobility, and improved performance. Some of the best massage therapy guns you can find. They help the Titans, and they can help you too. Find out more information online at hyperice.com.
This is Ryan Callenbay. Let's tighten up.
Detroit, it's time to tighten up. Welcome to Tighten Up, the podcast, presented by The Shield NIL. Brought to you by Hyperice and Last Shot Energy. A state of the Titans, the latest in Detroit Mercy athletics, and a chance to hear from Titans all over the world. Here's your host, Dan Hasty.
Sort of an abbreviated version of Tighten Up the Podcast. Hi, everybody. Detroit Mercy ended up falling in its final two home games at Calihan Hall, losing to IU Indy and Cleveland State. Now their last road trip of the regular season awaits as they go to Wisconsin. But after the 73-65 loss on Friday, we got a chance to hear the post-game thoughts of Detroit Mercy basketball head coach Mark Montgomery.
Coach, obviously, first place team in town, and they just answered a few of the Titan runs and just kind of ran out of time there.
Well, they kind of wore us down, and then they started doubling Lovejoy. And the one thing we will have next year is multiple ball handlers. Mac is a willing ball handler, but he's missed so many games, and everyone else, once Jeter went out of the game, the young guys were a little tentative. But the energy, the effort, the toughness was there. And that's something we can carry with us. Doesn't matter if it's Green Bay, Milwaukee, or whoever we play in the playoffs. But that's the effort we're going to need. And then also, we mixed it up. Played some man. I thought the zone bothered them. They made a couple key shots. You can't keep anybody scoreless, but it kind of threw them off rhythm, and that kind of helped us in the second half.
Coach, the second half at their place, last 17 minutes, they played some tough defense, could make some shots. The game kind of started that way a little bit, but the Titans were able to find a little bit of that rhythm offensively. Just talk about playing a team like this and their defense, and what the Titans need to improve after that.
Well, while they're good is they're going to pressure you full court. In the half court, they're going to force your baseline, and they post double from the baseline side. But all the reminds me of Louisville when I was at Michigan State. They're hand checking, the bumping, the grinding, just over time, it wears you down, and you need multiple ball handlers. Unfortunately, we have what we have, but that will change. But they're a good team. It's the reason why they're in first place. They're gritty, and then they knocked down some timely shots. I liked our effort where we came back. At the end of the first half, we cut it to 4, and there's those last 2 buckets to end the half to push it up to 8. That hurt. But it's a game of runs. We stayed the course. We kept answering their runs. We just needed one more push when it was 55-52, and we just didn't get that stop and score. Or maybe we did get a stop and we didn't score the basket. So I like where we're at in the last 4 minutes. Anytime it's a 1 or 2 possession game, we have a chance, and that's all you can ask for.
Coach, one thing about this game was, you normally don't call a lot of timeouts. And was that just a process of, the way they play, the physicality, and just getting some breather there, and just using those timeouts, the way you did today?
When you got a point guard playing almost 40 minutes a game, you need some timely timeouts just to get a breather. At times where I thought we were gassing, and then we can change our defense. They came in handy. So, I like to save them, but, I say it's playoff basketball, it's like baseball. You're not going to save a pitcher if you can go 3 or 4 innings and then you bring the next guy. Problem is we can't go 2 or 3 or 4 innings and bring in relief to stay at the same level where we're at. We're just undermanned right now, but we do bring in effort and toughness.
Questions for Coach?
You know, Coach, sometimes they say the only way to get through it is to get through it. So when you're dealing with all these freshmen going up against such a physical team, what can they learn in a situation like this?
Well, hopefully they learn in the off-season, value that weight room. And then in the off-season, value individual workouts. Everyone thinks it's just shooting, but it's ball handling, it's getting stronger, your body fat goes down, you put on more muscle. They learned a lot. They learned a lot that they had to play through a lot, and they're only freshmen, so they're going to be better as sophomores. I don't know what Calihan had, but I know he was a load in there, and he's only gotten better. And they learned that, you got to pick yourself up after wins or losses. There's been more losses, unfortunately, but, you got to keep battling. So the offseason is going to be big. They can make big improvements. And just strength alone, and the mental part of it is just the confidence.
You got a chance to honor Mac before the game, part of senior night. Him coming back this year was not something that I think a lot of people expected. What has his return meant to you and to your guys?
Just he sees we're undermanned. Most guys would have checked it in. He's still playing on one foot. He can't push off. He's playing on all heart. He's trying to make shots. He's showing a true, it's for this generation, it's not normal because we're in the entitlement generation, and he's in the, I want to do what's best for the team. If that's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or whatever it is, but just his presence at practice, his voice, his leadership, he's a guy that just stays the course, and he's positive. He's probably harder on himself. I said it before the game to him. I showed him. I said, Mac, you went out after the Ball State game, and you didn't return until, he's only played 3 games, and it was only 1 week of practice. Let's take a deep breath, man, and just play a couple minute stretches and kind of go from there. And I think when I say that, another 15, 16 minutes, but you could tell he's frustrated because he keeps getting fouls and guys are driving by him, unfortunately. But I just like that, he put everything for the team and the school, the name on the front. You don't get that now.
How's Emmanuel doing?
He said he bumped knees at the end. I think he's going to be fine. I think we have to worry more about Jeter. He said he might have hurt a pop, but swole a little bit. So let's hope that he's fine. Let's just hope it. But I tell him I'm doing something that I haven't done I haven't been a part of in, 30-some years. We probably just need the weekend to get refreshed. Saturday, Sunday. Have 2 good practices, Monday, Tuesday, fly to Green Bay, have a good workout there, and then just compete. So this is the best part of the season. It's March. And some way, somehow, we are going to make a run, whoever we play.
I know you haven't probably started too much to look at the Green Bay game because you've got that now coming up, but what do you remember when you think back to the game you guys had? That was your last one?
Oh, I remember. I know one thing. We followed a scout. We didn't give any back cut layups up. We got to figure out how to guard that big tank they have on the inside. He scored a little bit on us from there. You got to be there on those shooters. So they run good offense and they play sound defense. It's going to be a dogfight. They circled it like, hey, just like I would circle it. We're their next game. It's a big game. But they made some runs at us here where 5 minutes to go was still a ball game, and we made the last run. So our defense has to travel with us, but also we need some guys to make some shots.
Coach, last question. Fortunately, it's going to be the last home game this year. We want to build that fan base and get more fans here, but just overall, the fans that came out, not just today, but for the year, what would you like to say to them?
Thank you. I appreciate every single game they come to. And it's going to be days when they leave this building, just like at other universities, they're going to be smiling because we're going to protect home court. Just getting our feet wet, but just hold on, keep coming, keep bringing friends. But thank you, and I appreciate you guys all year because I could hear you in the stands. I could hear you cheering on and yelling at officials. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
There he is, the head coach of Detroit Mercy basketball, Mark Montgomery, and a huge thanks to Assistant Athletic Director for Communications, PJ Gradowski, for his help with that. Don't forget, you can get more information about the Shield NIL Collective by going online to theshieldnil.org. Make sure you follow The Shield on social media at The Shield NIL on X and Instagram. You can follow me as well at that Dan Hasty on X and at Dan Hasty on Instagram. Don't forget to rate, like, and leave a comment on the show. Always helps us a ton. So that's going to do it for this short and quick edition, short and sweet edition of Tighten Up the Podcast. Much more to come in the days ahead. And as always, I'll talk to you Titans of Industry next time.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Tighten Up, the podcast. Join our community at The Shield on theshieldnil.org and follow us on X and Instagram at The Shield NIL.
If you've listened to this podcast, then you know the Tighten Up's brought to you by Last Shot Premium Hydration, the official hydration drink of Tighten Up. Their revolutionary formula is packed with vitamin B12 and 0 grams of sugar. It helps the Titans hydrate, replenish, and recover. Try it at Calihan Hall or learn more at lastshotofficial.com.